They're gonna see your faces for 2 seconds. No. Transition quick. when... Wait, why am I not seeing a timer? That's why. Look at that, genius. That timer does look good there, though. Oh wait, I forgot to turn on the timer again. This is why we have cold starts. This right here is the reason why we have cold starts. Or else it would just go too smoothly, you know?
Of course.
Nice water bottle. I guess I should drink some wee too.
Important to hydrate in these fall months.
Specifically fall. Oh yeah, we're doing an intro, huh?
What's that?
So we're gonna be doing an intro, huh?
Yeah.
Dope. Welcome, everybody, to the LFTG Podcast. This is episode 2. I was prepared, not gonna lie, and then I immediately wasn't. Welcome to episode 2. We got some crazy topics for you today. We're going to be talking about all different types of esports. We are your hosts. I am Refresh, and to my virtual left, I have... Who are you? Tell me who you are, just in case people forgot.
I am Mohawkmike. I am a fellow esports roadie. I've worked with Alex many times. I noticed you got your gaming generation shirt on. It's the company that we both worked for previously.
Yeah, apparently yours is nowhere to be found.
I literally, it's like full transparency with everything going on. I moved from Las Vegas back to Ohio last year with the pandemic and everything going on. I have trash bags full of clothes that never got unpacked. They're sitting in the hall.
That gave you, you say last year, that gave you 3 months to actually unpack. And now you're like, I guess it's crazy outside. I won't do anything in my house.
Yeah, right. I got a rash on my t-shirts because I don't know. I might need them for bandages later.
I might need one for a crazy headband. Anyway, I'm super excited to be here. We're going to go ahead. The timer's winding down. We're going to cut it early. We don't need 30 seconds. What are we even talking about for 30 seconds?
I hit level 40 on Fall Guys. There's your intro.
Did you?
I maxed out with, 2 or 3 days left in the season? If you guys want any Fall Guys stats, just let me know. I'll tell you how to be mediocre. The most supreme mediocre player you can be.
All right, well, we're gonna go. That's it. That's the 30 seconds. Great, good use of the time.
I'm glad I could stretch that intro for you.
Halt sitting all in level 23. All right, we're gonna go ahead and hop into the first topic. This is a free for all segment where we have multiple topics to talk about really quickly. We get 2 minutes. Nothing. We're not gonna dive too deep into them. Halo 5. We had a tournament this last Saturday, 4v4 tournament. Sentinels. But a little bit of a twist this time. Frosty has left COD. He is now playing Halo again, playing with his old Halo 5 roster. Lethal couldn't make it to the event, so they substituted Neptune. It's pretty interesting to see Neptune playing Halo right now. He is trying to make that transition to the Call of Duty amateur scene. I won't talk about that too much, but Sentinels actually came back from a pretty big deficit. They actually had to reset the bracket, and I believe it went all the way to a game 5. But it's really cool to see that roster reform, Frosty back with his old teammates, and then just winning again. Like, just like that. They were the best team when Frosty left, and they're best team now. So
I think that's one of the coolest things specifically with console FPS esports is that between Call of Duty and Halo, you've seen this a lot. You've seen players transition from one game to the other. We're kind of seeing that more so right now with CSGO and Valorant, like the fact that you have like these players that are kind of shifting focus. I mean, we even talked about it last week, like with the Quake Champions League, like we're seeing diabolical tournaments where players are interchanging. So
yeah,
it's cool to see this, players not only make an impact in, they could leave and try and play in one specific league, but then they're welcome to come back. There's tons of competition out there.
Yeah, this event was pretty interesting too because it was actually the last open event before roster locks for the professional league for the professional season. So they'll be doing those seasonal. It'll be super. So they all corrected you. It's Valorant, not Valeriant. You're thinking of the movie.
Oh my, yeah.
Didn't you just watch that recently? I think you did.
I'm just not even willing to put effort into into it right now. To be honest with you, I haven't. I literally got into the closed beta. I downloaded it. I downloaded the launcher, installed it, and I haven't launched the game once. I'm just not really into it right now.
It's hard to be.
It's
hard to be.
neither here nor there.
It's pretty slow, but agreed. Neither here nor there, because I also want to talk about Courage reach 10,000 members. That's paying members on his YouTube channel. That's a pretty big milestone for YouTube gaming. Someone to actually come out with their numbers, be making a considerable amount of money. But that being the highlight of YouTube gaming right now, I actually wanted to spark up a little bit of a question just for you to think about. How viable is YouTube gaming as a streaming platform? I think it's in the future, if they were to really work with their content creators or really create a platform similar, as far as similar of ease of access as Twitch, I think they could easily rival Twitch. And the reason why I say that is when something cool happens on Twitch, where does it end up? It ends up on YouTube every single time. So I think YouTube gaming, people need to kind of be on the lookout for them. They now own the rights to the Overwatch League and the Call of Duty League for all their streaming rights. And Call of Duty League actually broke their previous number from Twitch on YouTube. So I think YouTube gaming could be a formidable force for these streaming platforms, unlike Mixer was.
Yeah, we're definitely at the height, or before Mixer's demise, we were at the height of what I people were referring to as the content wars. So obviously, Twitch, everybody's brand loyalty to Twitch. Twitch was the home of esports. A lot of these personalities, you look at guys like Ninja and stuff like that. This is where they really grew as content creators. But now, exclusivity and changing platforms. And I am not going to lie, I am very, very loyal to Twitch. But watching events on YouTube, I feel is the coding is just better and more friendly, especially with the fact you have live DVR. If you miss something, you can click back and watch it and then go right back to live. As
a viewer, yes. Right now, as a streamer, no. The number one thing, the one thing that has held me back from streaming to YouTube instead of Twitch is there's no clip button. It's a highlight button, and the shortest video you can clip is 30 seconds, and it's like a whole process. Twitch, you can just clip it, crop it, you're good to go. But we're going to go ahead and hop into our next one. We're moving through it today. This is all you, buddy. Talking about
I wanted to take a moment because I feel like this is very interesting. It's big news from a gaming industry standpoint, but Minecraft is officially announced as the next character. I should say Steve from Minecraft. It's actually a lot of the characters from Minecraft, but Super Smash Bros. Ultimate now has Minecraft characters in the game. I think this is a huge addition for Smash Bros. Ultimate. The thing that's really interesting about it right now is we got to see Sakurai showed us the gameplay video. There's a lot of new mechanics. There's resource management and building and things like that. But the community is kind of at odds right now because a lot of the pro players are either this character is broken or we didn't necessarily want to see this. The game has already sold 20 million copies. But with the addition of Minecraft, we might see a boost of new players.
100%.
But what is the ratio of those new players actually playing competitively and going to events or playing online? It's kind of this weird. It's a great move by Nintendo, and it's going to bring in a lot of more players and more sustained playing instead of just people playing it and putting it down and not coming back. So it's going to be interesting to see. But one, the new mechanics, how they're going to play out. We saw what Bayonetta did with Smash 4 with Wii U. So I'm very curious to see how this edition of Minecraft is going to play out.
I think the addition of Steve is actually pretty cool. I mean, Smash Brothers right here. I'm a huge Smash Brothers fan. Got the tattoos, everything. I'm also a huge Minecraft fan. Minecraft is a very dangerous game. You don't see me playing it very often because if I attempt to sit down to play it for an hour or two, my day is shot. It's gone. I get in survival mode. I'm done. I'm done for the day. I think the mechanics are interesting. I don't know why people don't want to see Steve in Ultimate with the variety. I mean, they have Sonic, they have Snake, they have Cloud. I mean, as far as like Ultimate being this hub of these central gaming figures at the top, I think Steve kind of fits in actually. But maybe that's just me. I'm crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be, obviously it's an interesting time for them to do that. Obviously Minecraft is owned by Microsoft, so if they're playing, who knows?
Halo, Bethesda.
I was actually hoping more for Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day, but that's oh yeah, I didn't even think about that now with Bethesda. But that's neither here nor there. The next topic I want to jump onto is Esports Stadium Arlington. They have done this really cool promotion where they are allowing their fans and player base to actually choose what one of their upcoming events are going to be. So they had an announcement video featuring Corey Dunn. Corey Dunn works there at the arena, but more so, that guy is an esports legend. He's been doing commentary and broadcast work since the early days, like mid 2000s, working for TSN and Gotfrag and tons of other content. So this is a really cool initiative. So they're letting people pick specifically. They're doing votes on their social media. So on Twitter, on Facebook, and you can go on there. So the first one that they got to pick was what genre did people want to see? And they had like shooter, MOBA, stuff like that on there. Sports ended up being the category that won. Now, a lot of people were like, oh, well, they're going to do Madden or NBA 2K. No, the Rocket League community has actually rallied around this initiative.
They're crazy, man.
And they all voted for sports, to try and get a Rocket League event. So the other votes that are coming up in the next few days, within like the next week, is also going to be, what is the team size? Are they going to do 1v1s, 3v3s, whatever it may be? What specific game and game mode, the format, and the location, whether it be an online tournament, an actual LAN tournament in the facility, or a combination of both.
Yeah, I would like to see, man, the Rocket League. It's cool to see them like go in. I'm assuming it's going to be 3v3. Just I think they're going to try to keep it standard. If the Rocket League community really has a hold of this, it would have been interesting to see if other communities would have gotten behind it. I feel like this event has kind of flown under the radar for most people, actually. I feel like a lot of people in a lot of different communities, maybe a community lead got a hold of it in the Rocket League community, and they're like, all right, this is what we're going to do. But enough on that. We're going to get into our next segment of the day, the reload. And the first topic is a juicy hot dog of a topic. I freaked out the other day. I lost my mind. I woke up. This happened overnight. Hector Rodriguez, a.k.a. Hex, bought the rights to Optic Gaming. If you guys don't know, he started Optic Gaming, built up the brand, the Green Wall. Sold it to sold it to another company, Infinite Gaming. They kind of mismanaged it, and Hector still had a part of the company as acting CEO, but was left out of loop in a lot of the things. Eventually, the company was sold to Immortal Gamings. That kicked off this season for the CDL for LA Optic, aka not Hex's Optic, but in the middle of the off season during roster forming, apparently IG wanted to sell their spot, and Hector scooped it up with all of the brand names and rights. The biggest question mark for me is, how is this going to affect the LA CDL spot? Because Hector has already shown that he wants to sell that spot. And do you know who conveniently lives in LA? An old Optic Gaming member that started his own organization, 100 Thieves. LA Thieves would be sick. Nate Shot has hinted that it would be pretty expensive to do it. There's a Twitch clip of him saying, "Oh man, it's kind of expensive." But I think that was bait, because the next day he started posting pictures of his 200 Thieves trophies in bed with him. I could see it happen. I want to see it happen. Ooh. That would be sick. The content creation in the CDL, it would set a new standard, and I think it would bring a lot more fans in.
Yeah, this is a super interesting, I guess, like timeline is the way to put it. Like, a lot of people know Optic primarily because of their like YouTube content creation. They've always been like super involved with their fans, super involved with all their initiatives and marketing and partnerships. And then you also have the esports portion of it, which a lot of people got adapted on early with, their Call of Duty team. So the fact that this team grew to this point where they had proved enough income and value that they were purchased, the owner steps aside, helps start a new organization, and then literally circles back to purchase that original empire that he had made. It's insane to me. I can't think of any other situation, any other storyline, and this has happened. Not even just that, but like professional sports. Like now maybe I'm just having a brain fart, but like if somebody sells off an NFL franchise team, typically that team either does really well, and then if it is going to be resold, it's sold to another like investment group
for more.
Or if it does really
markup.
bad, if it does really bad, then either they just hand it off to another company, or like you never have the original founder like repurchasing it back. So I think this is super interesting from like the story arc of Optic itself and Hex.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is like, does this potentially lead to a conflict of interest? So the fact that you have this one figurehead who is now involved with both of these organizations that have teams that are competing in multiple leagues, I don't think there's too much crossover there, but could this potentially hinder growth in one sector or another? Or are we going to see, like you were saying, like Optic literally he just wants it for the content creation, and then he's going to hand off his team slots to other players or other partners. That way it's still in the wheelhouse, but he's hands off from it.
Oh, that's a $40 million team slot though. That's an expensive team slot. That's in LA. That's marked up pretty good. My other theory is, and we should get like an explosion or like a conspiracy theory emote popping up next time. My other theory is this: Chicago Huntsman as a brand's dead. I can see Hex actually selling Andy Miller, co-owner of NRG, stakes in Optic Gaming for the CDL spot. I can see that transaction happening. You can see Chicago Optic and LA Thieves. So I can see them reworking the brand for CDL because all of their content creation, their biggest community members are in Call of Duty. You have Scumpy that lives underneath Hector for the last 10 years, still playing for him, left him once back in Envy way back in the day. But that huge, as far as Call of Duty goes, it's one of the biggest content creators, and I think it's right. I think the timing's good. It's right, but I could talk about that all day. Thank goodness there's a timer, cause we got another juicy topic. I'm kind of it intrigued me. I woke up to another tweet at some point this week. It's been a rough week, man. Cloud9's back in Halo. And they're in Halo 5. So they're back in Halo as of now, as of today. They'll be practicing moving forward. Their squad is going to be Eco, Renegade, Penguin, and Stellar. So that's a great roster. The Hoaxer as the coach, I believe. The only thing that
Hoaxer as coach is a big get too.
Yeah, that's a really good get. So C9 being back in Halo, the only thing that confuses me a little bit is a couple of these players like Renegade and Eco, they have shown interest in competing in the Call of Duty Amateur League and recently. So I don't know if this is a temporary thing just for Halo 5 because of the Pro Series is going on right now. Maybe Cloud9 knows something we don't about Halo Infinite. But with Cloud9 branding as Cloud9, and it being, I mean, it was a pretty hype announcement, but it was kind of just a tweet and a picture, and they were like, okay, let's go. So for Halo's Infinite's future, this makes me think, well, they're definitely not going to franchise first year. That confirmed that. They wouldn't be branded as C9. That's like there's no way. Maybe the second year. I don't know. It just kind of makes me think they know something that we don't, because the money's not in Halo. There's no content creation in Halo. And the money's not there. I love Halo. Halo is one of my few passions, but it doesn't make sense for C9 to be paying players salaries in Halo unless they know something's up this next year.
Yeah, this is an interesting timing of this announcement, because the way that I actually saw it first was that it was Tashi from 343 Studios, who helps with, basically one of the figureheads, the pillars for, between the community and 343 as far as their actual esports initiatives. He was like, it's an absolute pleasure to bring them back on. We're glad to be working with them again. And I'm just like, we're waiting for Infinite to drop. We're waiting for a new game. We're also in this weird limbo period because they're bouncing back and forth with Master Chief Collection for Halo 5 and Halo 3 and, all these events. They're going back and forth. So now, with Cloud9, which is a big organization and has had a track record, like, they're coming back in, like, is this going to spark the flame for other teams to pick up rosters as well? Especially now knowing that Halo, the multiplayer portion, is going to be free to play, which was previously announced. Like, who knows the talent that could come out of this and the teams that'll come out of the woodwork.
Yeah, Halo being free to play is it's a big deal. And it's going to be super interesting to see how they handle that, because it being free to play is probably going to be competitive on PC. They've already hinted towards that. They've said it publicly but haven't confirmed it all the way. Hopefully it being free to play doesn't hinder the fact that they could be running into issues with hackers and cheaters. But that's my only concern. That's my only really big concern. I don't know. I just feel like this is a super strange move. And I guess the biggest...
Let me phrase it this way for you. Mm-hmm. With the current roster that Cloud9 has locked in, mm-hmm. do you feel like this is a team that's catered more specifically for Halo 5, more for Halo 3 or Halo 2 and Master Chief Collection, or do you think they're actually stacked enough to go into Infinite without us knowing any details about it?
Well, you have Renegade on here. He's a Halo 5 player. He didn't play much MCC. Eco has won championships both in Halo 5 and Halo 3. I think this roster is actually really good as far as like adaptability, and Renegade's great at Call of Duty. So I think this is one of those rosters that you can see bounce from game to game super easily, whether it's from Halo to COD or from Halo to Halo, because Halo to Halo is super easy. The only big difference is with Halo 5 is some of your advanced movement mechanics, but the core is very Halo, like especially CE. You start with pistols at the beginning, in the very beginning. You also started with an assault rifle. It's I don't know. I think that's way less of a factor than people think it is. Even if you look at a team like Sentinels, they won majority of the Halo 5 tournaments. They won UGC St. Louis, which is a giant Halo 3 LAN, and now they're going back to Halo 5, and they won the first event with Halo 5. And Frosty's been playing Call of Duty. So I think with these FPS games, the talent is just the talent. But right now, I gotta do something crazy. You're gonna hate me for this.
Oh no!
Do you know what I did? Do you know what I did?
No, I don't know.
Take a guess.
Did you order a pizza so that way when it comes to get delivered, you can ask that person their opinion on Cloud9?
Oh wait, you won't see it. You won't see it. This just looks like I'm stalling. This is perfect. Oh yes, this is perfect. I'm a genius. Never mind. Are you good? This is my bad. I will tell you exactly what I did. I 100% forgot the picture for ESL.
Oh, I got you. Okay, well, I can at least talk about it a little bit because that's the next topic. That'll give me a few extra seconds to talk. So, big announcement. ESL and DreamHack are merging into one entity. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, for whatever reason, we like to be a good introductory, candidate on this show. ESL is an organization that runs pretty much all of the major esports events around the country. They run, basically, they were the original organization based out of Europe. Now they have locations all over the world. They're building new studios. They've done Counter-Strike, they've done Quake, they've done League, they've done all of these major esports activations. Their sole purpose is an esports company to host online events and LAN events, LAN finals. DreamHack is it's a festival. So it's like a touring festival that features it's not just esports, but one of their bigger components now is esports. But it started out, it was really just a LAN party.
Just a big LAN party.
A huge LAN party inside of like an airport hangar. Like literally, when I first started running events in the early 2000s, like 2002, 2003, like DreamHack for me was an inspiration, and it literally was on my bucket list. As soon as I saw a photo of DreamHack, I was like, man, there's like literally 800 people all in this giant space, all with their computers, all playing games. So now you have the events organization and broadcast component that is ESL. You have DreamHack, which is more of the actual festival and bigger events, and more encompassing than just people playing games, are now merging into one entity. Now, part of the reason this doesn't surprise me so much is that they're actually owned by the same parent company. There's a company, MTG, which purchased both of them. We're talking millions and millions of dollars. So they're under the same umbrella, but now they're actually going to merger into one entity. And the announcement was like, pretty straightforward. Like, this is what's going to happen. We're wanting to bring everybody together. But now it's, how are things going to be branded? Are things going to still, or is ESL going to still do their events? Are they going to host ESL events at DreamHack? Is DreamHack literally just going to be the festival it always has been and now feature ESL tournaments? It's kind of up in the air, but I think this is a huge improvement for the future going forward, because DreamHack is more of the gateway event to get people into seeing all of these different tournaments in the landscape, and ESL is like the league itself. It's like the NFL. They set the standard.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, okay, now let's talk, if you guys don't know, we do basically contract work for supplying equipment. So when we go out to these events, we're contractors. Do you think this is worrisome for contractors? Because if ESL is this big production company and ESL takes over the production, do you think they're going to outsource their production and equipment crews, or do you think they're going to try to expand within the company and use what they have?
No, I don't think it's really hindering whatsoever. I think the thing about this now is like in the instance of like ESL, like they have their own equipment and they have their own production team and specialists for all the divisions of the shows, but like they're still going to need, there's going to be events where they're going to have to hire additional help. There's going to be events where they're going to actually have to, rent, whether it be equipment like PCs or PlayStations, or actual like rigging, like trussing and lights and things like that. I think that within the actual wheelhouse, now you have ESL and DreamHack, with them officially being together, that helps grow the talent pool, meaning that, for instance, like I know personally, like having experience with working some of their events, but then also friends that work there as well. ESL America, right? Located in Southern California, they actually subcontract out a lot of the events that they do in North America. The reason that is because even though they have their studio and they have their own equipment, there will be weekends where there's 2, maybe 3, sometimes 4 or more events all happening at the same time. So I don't think we're going to see any hindrance from either DreamHack or ESL. Neither one is going to suffer. If anything, it'll help be more consistent, because that same talent pool can easily jump back and forth now.
I was going to say, do you think it's going to help guide DreamHack as far as a direction point of view? Because if you haven't experienced a DreamHack, every section feels a bit different production-wise, like in quality-wise. Do you think they're going to kind of have a flat standard? Obviously, if a game pays more money to be there, they'll have additional lights and screens. But do you think the gap from production from the FGC side to what the Counter-Strike side is, do you think that gap's going to actually start to narrow because there'll be more direction in that production? Do you think it's going to stay about the same?
I think it's going to stay the same. I think it's one of those, it's the same mentality. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Don't mess with it. Like, DreamHack has their very specific model they follow.
Mhm.
ESL for their larger events has their model they follow. There could be a lot of improvements, but we'll just have
We'll
to
see.
wait and see.
Yeah. Well, and I don't expect a big influx of money coming in because they're from the same parent company. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get straight into the next topic. This one's pretty interesting. I'm actually super excited about this one.
Yeah, so this one got announced. It was kind of like a silent announcement.
Yeah.
Blizzard officially announced it, but I didn't really hear too many rumors or like murmurs about it until I actually like went to like dig deep into it. So for anybody that doesn't know, so Activision and Blizzard are kind of like we were just talking about with like ESL and DreamHack. They're the same company, so they are owned by the same entity. There's parent companies on parent companies, so on and so forth. So while Blizzard makes Overwatch and runs the Overwatch League, Activision owns Call of Duty, runs the Call of Duty League. They're actually under the same umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
So the unique thing with this is Joanna Ferris was now announced as the like head of league operations
mm-hmm.
for basically this entire esports division. So now overseeing Overwatch League and Call of Duty Pro League.
Mm-hmm.
She previously was helping run the Call of Duty Pro League, and she was the one who really stepped in as far as helping with all of the adjustments needing for the pandemic.
She's the commissioner.
First year
That's her official title as commissioner. Yep.
Yes. So with this being the first year for the CDL and moving to this new structure and trying to like wait everything out on top of the pandemic, I think she did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
The finals, we were talking about it. The final saw viewership spike. I don't know that a lot of people were predicting it, but she was able to line the pieces up and make things work the way that they needed to really help set the show apart from just being another online tournament.
Yes.
Now, go ahead.
So what I find pretty interesting in this is just to kind of touch on what she did with the CDL. She previously worked for the NFL, and then I think she was like the assistant to the commissioner or like assistant commissioner. She was like right under commissioner of the NFL. She came in as the lead for CDL, because we actually went to the last LAN event, to the LA home series. The only thing that I could say that she probably got misdirected on was how some content is presented. I think she had a lot of leeway on how mature the content for Call of Duty is. I think the production team presented to her, hey, this is a rated M game. They let a couple things. It was just a more mature, heavy-based scenario. But I think she kind of comes from more like a cheesy production background, and some of that slipped through. Like you had the celebrity game time where like celebrities would come out and they would play against like commentators and stuff like that. And that was kind of like an interesting break. I think that time could have been better used. But I think her mindset and her direction skills would actually go really well in the Overwatch League. It being more of like, I think she could get away with something like that with like more of the celebrity games, more of that NFL direction of style of like promotion, where I feel like Call of Duty is kind of a bit more of a mature audience where that doesn't really slip by. So I could see this being like a huge plus for how she handles that.
I have faith that she's going to do well balancing both. I'm more where I come in and where I'm skeptical is that in my opinion, the Overwatch League from season 1 to season 2 has not I mean it's kind of hit its plateau, but like season 1, Overwatch came out, season 1 Overwatch League, like it was this huge ordeal with the team franchising, and it was amazing to see, but the game itself, because of a stale meta or lack of updates or too many updates or a new character like completely breaking everything and having to change format, like it's been this kind of like turbulent process, and I don't know how season 3 for Overwatch League is going to be. Like obviously, like this weekend is the finals for Overwatch League season 2. They've already announced, Blizzard has, that there is going to be an Overwatch 2. So with her stepping into this role, she still has her hand over top of the CDL, and I think she's going to do great there. But now with the Overwatch League, is this a transition to Overwatch 2, which we don't know anything about right now? Is there also going to be a lot more hiccups there? Like, I feel like she's doing very well within her role, but now she's having this additional kind of like desk work that's literally dropped on top of her that was not really in the best condition before she kind of stepped into this role. So I think it's going to be dependent on the steps going forward for Overwatch League as far as how both are going to do. But I don't think this is really going to hinder one or another with her playing this role as head of the leagues for both of them.
Yeah, I think she'll do a great job. She did a great job with the CDL, especially with the pandemic. They handled it pretty well. There was a couple of hiccups at first, and it's not like the pros' favorite game was Modern Warfare. So even though there was a lackluster feeling about the game, she still was able to hold direction and make the production good and still make it entertaining for the viewers. And I think that's super important for the esport. But
speaking of making it entertaining and fun for the viewers, pretty good segue here. So as we mentioned before, upcoming, I wanted to highlight real quick, just for anybody that possibly doesn't know, the Overwatch League Season 2 finals are taking place this weekend. A lot of, I'm going to be fully transparent. Like, I've caught a couple of the games, but I haven't really followed a lot this whole season just because, like I said, for me, like the game, I was playing the game very actively, big fan of the game, and then it just kind of like stalled out for me. But that's not on me, not on Overwatch League, nothing that they're doing there specifically. But very funny story. Last year for Overwatch League Finals Season 1, Alex and I were both working an event for Pokemon. We were in, where were we?
Atlantic City?
We were in Atlantic City. Yeah, we were in Atlantic City. The finals were happening in Philadelphia. I actually took a train to go visit Philadelphia, but not for Overwatch League. That just happened to kind of fall in place. I wish I could have gone to the finals, but I didn't.
No.
But I literally pulled my phone. Yeah, thankfully. So I had my cell phone. We're literally tearing down the Pokemon event. It's, the show is wrapping up. We're starting to load up all the equipment. We're getting ready to get out of the convention center. And I'm like, man, I'm going to take like a 45-minute break. I'm going to watch some of these matches. I want to see how everything goes. 4-0.
They destroyed Vancouver.
Yeah.
They destroyed them.
I felt super bad primarily because, this was a big deal. It was these things happen, right? There are teams that are just going to be head and shoulders better than the other one. But this was also, the finals are broadcasted live on ABC in North America, on TSN, which is like the equivalent of ESPN in Canada. Like, this was a huge ordeal, and to see a 4-0 sweep was very painful. But we're potentially setting up for the same thing because the finals, like I said, are this weekend. We have two North American players North American teams that have traveled over to Asia. They actually traveled a few weeks ago. That way they could make sure that they didn't have any health concerns. They could actually do the 14-day quarantine as suggested before getting in there and playing. But the four teams, we have Seoul, we have Shanghai, we have Philly, and the team last year who ran that vicious 4-0, San Francisco.
San Francisco is still the first seed, so they are still the favorites to win. So with this being a bubble, and I'm starting to connect the pieces, I'm having my big brain moment right now, and Johanna, being the commissioner of both, could this be a proving ground to be like, yeah, maybe we could do some Call of Duty, send everyone to Dallas, Texas, not Vegas, Dallas, Texas, to play. But no, I think the Overwatch League will be good. San Francisco, they should win. They should. They just have a really consistent roster. They've been number one all year. They won I think the last 3 major events. It's something. They're just ridiculous.
Let's talk about the other side of that as well, because last season the Shanghai Dragons went 0-40.
Something like that.
They literally had they didn't win a single game. They've completely turned that organization around. Now they're potentially going to get themselves into the finals, which is very cool to see. But again, it seems proportionally like San Francisco is going to run. They're going to be back-to-back champs. but we'll see how everything unfolds. Oh, and remember, you have to watch it on YouTube. They have the exclusive streaming rights. You cannot watch it on Twitch.
YouTube.com/Overwatch League.
Yeah, yep. Overwatch League. Don't try going to Twitch or Facebook or anywhere else and try and start watching that this weekend. So yeah, so it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think, according to our timetable. I can't remember. But go to overwatchleague.com and get all the info. Yeah.
It starts Thursday. I low-key won't be watching it because, Cold War beta. Anyway, the more exciting thing that's happening, more on the line, more epic as far as the terms of events, is the event I have to talk about. We're hosting an event. We're actually doing we talked a little bit of trash on Halo earlier. We're gonna give C9, their players, a little bit more reason to play. We're actually gonna be hosting seasonal events series starting now. This is a shorter one. This is like our test one. There's about $1,500 total in the prize pot over 4 events. We're going to have 3 qualifiers. The first one's going to be October 16th. That's the event we're talking about now. It's going to have a $120 prize pot. It's free to enter. Just go to lftg.com/events. Click on that Halo picture, and boom, you'll be right in our Discord, and you'll see how to sign up there. Players will be able to earn points. We're going to be giving out points all the way through 16th place, kind of Mario Kart style. I'm super excited for this. It's all going to lead up to our final, which is going to have $1,100 paid. And that's going to be an invitational. The top 8 teams with the most points will be making it to that final. It will be streamed and casted by myself. I will have some people in the background running brackets for me. So you'll see me all night on the 16th, 23rd, the 30th, and then the finals on the 6th. All of them are Friday night, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So everyone has a chance to get off work, grab a couple drinks. It's going to be a long night. But it's single elimination, so it should be good. Should be good.
Yeah, I think this is a super cool initiative. We were talking about before, like, obviously everybody's kind of in like this weird limbo state right now, like waiting for more info for Halo Infinite, waiting to actually see what the HCS is going to do with it. So this is a super cool event to not only like get players like refreshed, no pun intended, get people refreshed into playing, competitive Halo again. It's a low barrier of entry. It's a 2v2 tournament. You just need you and another player. Yeah. And then, the thing with that is like, it's an actual like structured weekly, almost like a league. Like it literally has like, here's the lead up. So if you can play on the one on October 16th, but can't play on the one on the 23rd, like you don't have to worry about that because you can hopefully,
accumulate enough points.
Accumulate enough points. This is, like every other, esports league that has basically been ran, almost since the beginning of time, except for like open bracket events. So I think it's super neat and free to enter with a huge prize pot like that. That's ridiculous.
All of our online tournaments are free to enter. We're not paying for a venue, so we shouldn't have you pay for a venue as well. Doesn't make any sense to us. Just show up, just watch. Also, if you go to lftgofficial.com, you can find some of our beautiful merchandise. We have nice t-shirts. I wore my white hoodie last week. I'm wearing my Gaming Generations because I thought Mike would be wearing his. I was total misread. He doesn't even know where the shirt is. But, all right, this is the end of the show. We made it through with very little hiccups, except for one of mine. That's my beat. The whole the ESL thing, But we're going to go ahead. We just want to do like an open discussion time, take some questions from the chat. I'm going to go ahead and pull one immediately. What's going to be more popular, Cold War or Infinite? Cold War, hands down. It's going to be on every single... Hands down. I love Halo. Don't get me wrong. I love Halo. But Cold War, hands down.
And here's okay. I got to play devil's advocate here. We said before, Halo multiplayer is going to be free to play. And... Halo, as far as a storyline, has such a lineage behind it that I think people will want to get the game to play just the campaign, just to see how the story plays out, and eventually migrate over to multiplayer. But me personally, like, I'm definitely gonna play Infinite. Cold War, it looks cool, but I may
safe.
not,
No, I'm definitely going to play the butt out of Halo Infinite. But multiplayer is free to play for Halo. The only reason why multiplayer is free to play for Halo is because Warzone's free to play, and that's staying around. And that's, besides Among Us, the most popular game to play. No, I'm super excited for both of those games. I'm actually going to be streaming on my personal stream the beta this weekend. I streamed the alpha. It's gonna be a good time. What is there any other questions you have in chat? I know I saw someone say someone likes Halo Reach. Crazy. You're nuts. Get that mess out of the chat. There's also zombies in Cold War.
I do want to add another just quick news note, because this is one we actually for anybody that doesn't know, this isn't just some random show / podcast. We don't just sit down and just start talking. I think people can tell we research and we get our topics, and we actually have a script that we follow and we go down the script. One of the news breaking news things that unfortunately I didn't get to add in, but now that we have this discussion time at the end, is an old Quake player by the name of Diablo. Unfortunately, it's been announced on Twitter that he passed away after a long time battle with cancer. The reason that a lot of people myself, as an old Quake pro and fan of the Quake series, this is very sad news for me. But a lot of people may not also know that he was one of the founding members for Owned 3D, or Owned 3D TV, which was originally back in the day actually a competitor to Twitch.
Yeah.
So
that was when Twitch was Justin, right?
Yeah. So I very vividly remember 2011 being at the Justin TV had just rebranded to Twitch. You had Twitch, you had Owned, which at that time they were both competitors to each other. There was no clear winner. You also had MLG, had their own MLG TV for their specific events. You had all of these content platforms that are battling against each other, and there are a lot of people that actually got their start on Owned.
Yeah. No, that's crazy sad to see, and it's gonna be crazy when we're gonna be older. It's gonna be one of those things that I think is just gonna happen over time. You're gonna see a lot of these older esports figures they're gonna start to be going away, sadly, and it kind of hits you with that fat reality of life. No matter how good you are at something, and no matter what you do, sometimes it ends up that way. But to end that topic on a high note, the amount of impact that someone can have in a community, and someone that can have in just the gaming space, and give people a place to watch and get out their feelings through content, that's super powerful. And even though we all kind of end up in one place, you can really change the landscape of everything for everybody else. So it's crazy.
That's actually a really good point to bring up, because one of the things I didn't mention was Internet Hulk, who was one of the pro players of the early phase of Overwatch, even the Apex series before Overwatch League was even announced. He had, unfortunately, he passed away at the formation of Overwatch League. They now actually have an award named after him that's given to the community member that they think benefited the community most. So even though it's sad and these things are happening, there are still people that are being remembered for the contributions they made, and their lineage is living on, not just for YouTube vids or popularity or whatever, but the actually good that they did.
Yeah it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of impact that a gamer can have. It's just anybody in general. But I think that's going to be a good place to end it. What else you got going on? You doing anything crazy?
Well, I do have so Salty Holiday in the chat is asking, what do you guys think of Steve being able to place blocks to get his second jump again? Did you watch the video? Did you watch the announcement video?
Yeah, I did. I did watch the announcement video. Edge guards are going to be nuts. They're going to be non-existent. They're going to be non-existent for Steve. Steve, you can combo Steve from And you could take Steve all around the world. You can get Steve to 150%, but if he doesn't go out that blast zone, Steve's coming back. Steve is coming back. Don't give that man too much time.
I think there's a huge potential issue here with them, we kind of touched on this last episode. Nintendo has been getting more in tune with actual the competitiveness of their games, with Nintendo Versus and things like that. But Bayonetta, when she was released in Smash 4 on the Wii U, she completely just wrecked the game. Just basically broke the competitive meta. It was either you play her or try and counter her, and it really put a strain on the life cycle, the end life cycle of that game. We actually saw the Evo finals. We saw both players just stall out because neither one of them, the crowd was booing. They didn't want it. They literally did not want Bayonetta on stage. So
I left.
Steve mechanically looked super cool, but there could be some really broken elements with being able to build, these blocks, and not only just your advantage to try and get back to stage, by building blocks and then jumping and regaining double jumps. His jump is shorter. Yeah, his jump is a lot shorter, and his up B, the glider is kind of funky as well. But I'm not sure until we actually see it in the community's hands, especially with these pro players. There could be some broken elements to this that nobody has ever nobody has even fathomed.
It's there's, as far as competitive Ultimate goes, there's nothing if you play on Battlefield, you're playing on the 3-platform stage. How long I think it's a lot of it's going to come down to how long the blocks last.
So that's
I saw them deteriorate, but how long is that?
So it depends on the material you use to actually craft it. So if you're playing on an Omega stage, or you're playing on a stage, they literally went back and redesigned the game every single level. They went back and touched every single level so that if you're standing over a position that has wood and you're crafting, you will get wood on top of other materials. And then if it's metal, you get ore and things like that. If you're playing just a general stage, there's it didn't look like it was too random, but you collect in a specific order. And then you have a gauge. You have a gauge that's down by your percentage that actually shows you this is how much wood you have, this is how much ore, this is how much stone. And then when you're building those blocks, if it's if you're using just dirt, it collapses pretty much instantaneously as soon as you're on top of it.
Okay.
But if you're using stone or you're using ore, they do stand out there longer. But it's not. I don't think it's a huge it's not you're gonna build a block and then just be come at me, bro.
Well, that's awesome. I can't wait to see it. I hope it doesn't break the game. Do you think they fix Lilac Cruise in the process? Probably not. They'll just let that map.
No.
I thought they'll rework the whole game for Steve, but they won't fix Lilac Cruise.
So here's what's funny. I have a very interesting kind of behind the scenes with this. So the first North America online tournaments that they did, they were the official Nintendo online tournaments. I helped work on the broadcasting for that. So we had Nintendo reps. They were literally in the production room. It was a remote broadcast. We had our commentators in the room, and that was it. Everything else was online. Literally, the Nintendo reps said, the controversial thing with that is it was an online tournament officially sanctioned and ran by Nintendo. They allowed items.
Yep.
Items were on, but the stages were still the same. They didn't have a lot of the other stages. And literally, the conversation in the room was the fact that they had to fight so hard against the community complaining that they turned items on. You're we put out this game. No. They put out this game, and literally it's okay. Imagine you have a homework assignment, right?
Yes.
You need to turn in a 10-page paper, right?
Yeah.
It literally, you turn in the 10-page paper, your instructor reads the first 3 paragraphs and grades that, and doesn't read the rest of the paper.
I mean, that sounds like school.
That is how the developers from Nintendo feel, because there's all of this content that you're not seeing any of the assist trophies, you're not seeing any of the items, you're not seeing any of these stages that they put so much time and effort into. it's literally just a small portion within the competitive scene. That's why they have such a problem with it.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, that makes sense. But you could also be like, well, this could just save us a lot of work by not putting a lot of this stuff in. Like, we don't need to have 500 trophies. They could have just made Waluigi a character, got rid of the trophies, and called it a day.
I guess the counterpoint to that is, we're talking about, like, we have Cold War getting ready to come out.
Sure.
Why are they putting zombies into it? Why don't they just make it online shooter and that's it? Why is there even a story?
Because
Why
no
do we
one
have
complains about zombies.
Ronald Reagan in it?
Because no one complains about zombies. I mean, it's true though. Like, that's the difference. No one complains about the feature. It's like, do you like mustard?
Yeah, I'm fine with mustard.
What's your least favorite condiment?
Least favorite condiment?
Yeah.
I don't. Let's say guacamole. That's
all right.
my least favorite condiment.
Let's pretend you hate guacamole. I make
Okay.
you a burger, right? I put all your favorite things on it, and I slap guacamole all over it, and I go, here you go. And you're like, oh, I don't like guacamole, and you hand it back to me. But I put all the time to make guacamole. You're not gonna eat the guacamole still. You're still not gonna eat the guacamole. You're still gonna hate it, So it's like, and even if before I made the burger, you said, hey, you know what, Alex, I really don't like it when you put guacamole on my burger, and I come back with guacamole anyway, you're gonna be like, all right. You're gonna be like, what's going on here? I mean, that's how I feel like to me. But I'm gonna 100% jump ship to your point. I was only arguing just the sake of argue. I'm going to jump ship to your point. The competitive community is a fraction of the people that actually play the game, so that we don't matter. We turned their art piece into something they didn't want, and we're complaining about it. So
yeah,
yes,
you're literally
correct.
talking about a game that sold 20 million copies, and you're catering to maybe 3,000 players in total.
Yes, so you are correct. I was just making an argument. Just was like argument. All right, we're gonna end it. I'm sick of this. Sick of all this talk. Lilac Cruise is pissing me off already. Who do we main? Well, it depends on what. I guess I main the same in every Smash Brothers: Mario, Pikachu, and Young Link. But I mostly play Melee. Who do you main?
I'm so in Ultimate. I really like Bowser. Bowser and Bowser Jr. are my favorites. Melee, I haven't played Melee in a very long time, but I like Captain Falcon just because of his speed. So I'm not anywhere within the realm of being hurt or endangered by any kind of updates or nerfs by any of the characters I play. So I just love playing Bowser and just hard ass drop kicking people. That's the best feeling in the world.
Bowser has like very satisfying moves. Show you moves. All right, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and end it for real this time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being in the chat. Just thank you for being you. Gosh dang it. And don't forget to tell people about the Halo 5 2v2 tournament we're hosting. Go to LFTGofficial.com/events. Click on that Halo picture. And then just sign up for it. It's free to enter. But I'm Refresh. You are?
I'm Mohawkmike.
All right, we're signing out. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Be safe.
Be safe. Yeah, wear a freaking mask.